All right, ladies and gentlemen, today on Kiss Army Things, we are going to be celebrating the one and only Ace Frehley. That's because today, on the day that this is being uploaded, April 27th, it is Ace's 74th birthday. So, what better time to celebrate than on the day of the guy's actual birthday? And who better to do it with than my good friend Rob from the RBTE podcast, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me literally last minute to celebrate the Spaceman's birthday. I really appreciate you hopping on.
I will quote Ace by saying,
hey, look, it's rock and roll, right? Here we go.
It's rock and roll.
Absolutely. This is going to be the Ace Frehley themed episode. So, yeah, I'm really glad that you're joining me here. And everybody stay tuned because at the end of this episode, Rob and I have a fun little announcement to make. So, you're not going to want to miss it. But yeah, today's episode is all going to be about Ace Frehley. What I want to do is Rob and I are going to each be sharing our ultimate Ace Frehley playlist. We've gathered 10 songs each that we feel represent our favorite Ace songs, the best Ace songs, whatever it is. And so we're going to be kind of going back and forth today. And we want you, all the Kiss fans, all the Ace fans in the comments to follow along. And anything goes. It could be Kiss songs. It could be Frehley's Comet. It could be Ace's solo career. Whatever, anything goes. As long as if Ace wrote it, if he played on it, if he sang it, it's fair game. So yeah, feel free to use as many songs as you guys want in the comments. We're only using 10 because of time constraints. But yeah, so before we just jump right in, we're going to, of course, do the Kiss Spotlight. And I'm going to have Rob take it over and have him share with us what the Kiss album that he's been listening to the most or most recently is, or even Kiss adjacent. So Rob,
there
take it
you
away,
go,
my friend.
I feel like what I normally do on your show, I don't know. There's probably been one or two times maybe I've had a legitimate Kiss album, but I'm always doing
both times it was Sonic Boom.
Yeah, right. I think the first time I was on, I did Kiss Rocks Vegas that I had pulled that up.
Oh, that's a good one.
But keeping in my normal track record, being that's an Ace episode, one of my, I don't even know if you're going to ask this in the show or not, so I'll just say it in case you do. But cool. My favorite Ace recording, my favorite Ace album is Second Sighting, Frehley's Comet. So when you asked me about this, I was like, I had been listening to some Kiss, but not, I think Hot in the Shade was probably the last Kiss album I've been playing kind of in full. But when you were like, hey, I want to do this Ace episode, this was the first thing I pulled out.
Okay,
so
nice.
I love this album to death. Some people, you could call this Howarth's Comet because Todd Howarth really has a massive presence on this album, but there's just some great tracks off this. I had the Alive +4 VHS, which I lent it to a friend. And one of those things when you lend somebody something, there's always that thought in the back of your mind, like they're going to give it back. I never got that VH tape back. So that is one of my grail things. It was like the second or third thing that I bought, like after I became like a diehard Kiss fan, I found this Ace Frehley album. So it had like 5 music videos and then the album that's back here over the corner, all the live tracks from the Hammersmith Odeon or whatever. So that was like the first time seeing Ace live as a solo artist. And I thought, oh, wow, that's really so cool. But, you know, songs off here, It's Over Now. I love that one. Time Ain't Running Out. I'm pulling off all the Todd Howarth songs. But Ace, his song Insane off of this has got such a cool groove. The late, great Jamie Otaker is the drummer on this album. He doesn't quite play the Kiss songs live the way Peter or Eric Carr would, but the Ace stuff always sounds great. So that's long-winded to say I've been, in the little time that you said, hey, want to do this Ace album, I bet I listened to this 5 times, and 2 of those times was mowing the yard today, where I would just over and over again. So yeah, Frehley's Comet.
I love that. And see, that's why I'm doing this episode, because I'll be straight up, I am actually not that familiar with Frehley's Comet. I think I might have, one Frehley's Comet. Jeb is the one who knows more about Frehley's Comet than I do. But that's what I'm talking about, because I need to get into that stuff, because here you are talking about Second Sighting and how great it is. I couldn't tell you one song off that album. And you're saying the song Insane is really good. That's insane. I don't know any of these songs. So I think that's one album I need to go back and listen to, because I know a little bit of Frehley's Comet, but that's one I need to go back and listen to. And I'll be honest, my Kiss Spotlight actually isn't even Ace related. It just happened to be sort of in the flow. It actually picks up from last week. Last week, I think I spotlit Kiss Alive 3, or at least recently I spotlit Kiss Alive 3. And I finally found what I call my car version, my car copy of Revenge. I have a copy of Revenge that I just keep in the car to listen to. It's an old one that I found for like probably $1.50 at some discount CD store, but I lost it somehow. And it was, of course, tucked up under the seat in the back. It had somehow fallen. And while I was cleaning out my car, I found Revenge. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to listen to Revenge while I'm cleaning out my car and have that be my cleaning soundtrack. I'm doing spring cleaning. So I was Kiss Alive 3. Yeah, right. Exactly. And it's much needed around here. I don't know about y'all, but yeah, it's definitely spring cleaning. So Revenge has been my soundtrack. But naturally, yes, I, of course, have been listening to a lot of Ace Frehley. And we're going to get to our ultimate Ace Frehley playlist as soon as we talk about some Kiss news, because there's a couple things that's been happening. I know I have something to say. Rob has something to say. So we're kind of just tackle this. Did you hear that Peter Criss is announcing a solo album?
I thought it was a joke, and I didn't click on the first couple links.
Okay.
It was in
you didn't believe it?
It's one of those Facebook rabbit holes that I went down that, you'll see a post. Now Facebook is half ads half the time. So because you like
AI.
Yeah. Some of the things that you like, it pulls in other things. So there's this radio station. I don't even know where they're out of, Rock Range Radio, that I followed because they post a lot of cool content. And that's the first post that I saw. And it wasn't done by one of the moderators. And I was like, okay, Peter Criss is not putting out a solo album. I didn't even bother to I just scrolled right on past it. Like, you're not clickbait central. And literally the next 7 posts as I'm scrolling, same image, same header. And I'm like, okay. And then our good friend Joey Casada had posted it. And I went, okay, he's a drummer. I'm a drummer. You're a drummer. The three of us are not dumb. So I clicked on Joey's.
Well, I don't know about me. I might be, but no.
So then I was like, oh, holy cow. And then Jason Herndon from Kiss My Wax had shared it because I know he works really close with the Peter Criss team and stuff like that. So once I saw those 2 names, I was like, okay. And then Tom and Zeus had shared it right away. So I was like, okay, this is legit. So out of all the Kiss news you could have said that we would possibly get in 2025, Peter, I thought he's done his thing. He's going to do these little convention things. Nowhere did I think he was going to pull out a solo album. I'm really kind of jazzed about it. And to go off of that, Access TV 55 minutes ago had just posted the headline, and whose image did they use? Eric Singer's. So me being a wise guy, I am tweeting that out, tweeting to Access TV. I'm so excited that Eric Singer is releasing a new solo album. This is absolutely fantastic. And that's starting to get shared. So
hey, what a great way to get views and get likes and reacts, man.
So if you see RBTE, then that was me.
If you see it trending, we know that it was all Rob's doing.
Right.
But it's funny you mentioned that because I had just shown Daphne that I was scrolling past it. I saw Access TV post that. Access TV, of all people, first of all, I feel like they have a really good relationship with Kiss and have there was the Zurich concert and they've shown endless reruns of Family Jewel. So you feel like there's some sort of level of, I don't know what you want to call it, but like insider knowledge, or at least, on the same level. And so this seems like a random intern blunder where it's like they got some random intern running it for the weekend or whatever. And it's like, yeah, post this and find an image of, the Catman and Kiss. And they search Catman. What's the latest image? And here it is, Eric Singer from the End of the Road tour. But no, I was telling Daphne, I was like, you know what? It always seems like when Kiss is being reported in the media, there's always there's always something that's incorrect. Whether it's something like that, where it's the image, or I don't know if you can think back to on the End of the Road tour when Kiss was in Australia, I think it was, Eric Singer was talking and they put Eric Carr at the bottom. And there was one time I was watching the news and Kiss was on or being mentioned for some reason. And the graphic that showed up right here on the screen as the person was reporting was a tribute band that looked nothing like Kiss. it made Kiss. It was one of those images of like, you know, somebody who maybe shouldn't be in a tribute band. It was like, oh my gosh, somebody squeezing into the spandex and slapping on the makeup, wearing a wig. It's like, this is not doing Kiss any good, and it's on national news. It's like, oh my gosh. So I was both surprised and not surprised by Access TV doing that, but I was thoroughly surprised to hear that Peter Criss, yes, is releasing a solo album. We don't really have an official date. We just know it's going to be released this fall, but it seems like he's got some really cool guys joining him. I was trying to, you know, make note of them. I can't remember who it was. I think it was, I don't know, John 5 is going to be playing guitar. Piggy D,
Billy Sheehan.
Billy Sheehan, yes. Mike McLaughlin, I forget, I might be mispronouncing that name, but yeah. So I mean, he's got a pretty good band with him, and then I think the co-producer is somebody who's worked with Barry Pointer, I think his name was. He's worked with Ozzy and Marilyn Manson, and so it seems like he's got a really good band, a really good team. Here's how I heard about it, because you're talking about scrolling through, being like, "Nah, this is fake," and then finally, kind of, it's setting in, like, "Oh my gosh, this is real." I was on YouTube. I refreshed the homepage, and the very first thing was Kiss FAQ with Julian Gill was sitting down on the couch with Peter announcing it. And so I was like, whoa, this is incredible. You know, again, Julian's on the couch saying, hey, big news from the guy over here. And it's like, yeah, I've got a hard rock. It's a hard rock album. This isn't going to be a jazz album. It's not going to be an R&B album. This is going to be a hard rock album. According to Julian, Peter's drum sound is massive. I can't wait to hear what they've, you know, what Peter's going to present, you know, and what he's going to give us, because yeah, again, like you said, on my bingo card, this was not on my 2025 Kiss bingo card. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I feel like we're going to get some more information as this rolls out, but yeah, no, I can't wait to hear the very first Peter Criss single. I can't wait to see the cover art. I'm hoping he makes appearances. He's the only original member of Kiss I've not met face to face, and that has to change in 2025. And this could be it. So I am thrilled to see Peter back in the spotlight like this.
Yeah. And I've been kind of watching as Peter's doing some of these like horror and Comic Con conventions. Like, please hit like Columbus, Ohio, or Cincinnati, Indianapolis, somewhere in the tri-state area, and I will go to
Louisville. Absolutely.
Yeah, something like that.
He I think last year or the year before, he did a convention out in New Jersey. Yeah. And I was seriously considering it, but just because I would have to get a rental, get a hotel, and then all that time off of work, it just, because I'm not going to fly. That's out of the question. So I was like, no. I was this close to doing it, but wasn't able to make it happen. So yeah, Louisville, Cincinnati. I mean, even Chicago. I would go to Chicago if I had to go. That'd be the farthest I would go, probably. But yeah, that would be fantastic. So yeah, hopefully we see more Peter Criss appearances coming soon. But I'm interested to know what you are bringing to the table. So what is your Kiss news before we get into our Ace Frehley playlist?
So the album that I have, refuse is the wrong word. I want to listen to this physical. I have not listened to a single second of the latest Kiss off the Soundboard, San Antonio, because I wanted a physical copy, and I didn't want to listen to it digitally. I want to listen to it on vinyl, and I got a little salty because of having to buy a dumb t-shirt and blah. Yeah, even I thought I could just order a small, I don't care, I'll fold the t-shirt up and put it away. And I think I missed my opportunity, and it kind of bums me that I'm not going to have it on vinyl. Keep hoping that maybe they'll release it to Amazon and it'll get just a black version. And then the CD was announced through CDJapan, and I was like, oh, the Japanese love CDs. It could be a little pricey to get, and not trying to get political, but the time that I placed an order for it, and then trying to figure out where it's like 4,000 yen. I'm like, how much is that? And, you know, which it broke down to, because the Japanese will package this a lot of different ways. They'll put it in a little simple mailer, or they'll do cardboard. They'll do some really nice packaging. Speaking of Billy Sheehan, Mr. Big's last album, I got in a really nice sealed cardboard box, where I was like, you ever get one of those boxes where you're like, I'm not going to throw this box away, because it was a box inside of a box inside of a slip case. And I was like, I could use this for something.
It's a nice box.
It's a nice box. So it gave you a couple different options of like how you want to package it. And my wife was going, is this borderline origami that you're ordering? So I was like, I've got to get this. So at least I can continue the CD run of Off the Soundboard, because I've double dipped into all this. And I keep checking. So it went up, a week after it was up on KOL, that the Japanese is like, hey, we're going to do a CD version, something like that. Yeah. So I keep checking it every couple weeks, and enough time goes by, it starts to slip your mind. Like, is this even coming out? And then the whole tariff thing started coming through. So I got an email last week that said, due to how it read, like, due to the tariffs with the United States or whatever. And I was like, well, great. They're not going to ship it. Media does not fall into that same category as long as it doesn't reach the threshold of $800. So I think I'm into the CD for $43 US. That's the price of the CD and the packaging option that I chose. So, and it's just been saying, waiting for product. Last night at midnight, the status changed to packaging item, shipping following next week. So next week, probably the 1st of May, I think is what they're, at least the way the email read, that anybody who bought the CD version of Off the Soundboard will be receiving it very soon. And anything that I've ordered from CDJapan has arrived very, very fast. So hopefully it doesn't get bogged down in customs and stuff like that, but we'll be shipping within the week. I thought that was really big news. And the fact that part of me goes, okay, once it's shipped, am I just going to break down and listen to it? Like, I've waited this long. I just want to put it in the CD player or on the computer and listen to it. And I hear the lunacy in my voice going, I'm going to put it in the disk drive on the computer and listen to it, and going, or you could just go to Apple Music that you pay for, and I could just listen to it right now. But so that's the news that I just got at midnight last night.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah,
it is shipping.
I think that I've had one item already this year come from, maybe two, I don't know, come from Japan, and both time it's been stuck either in customs or up at the Indianapolis location. The Indianapolis Postal Service has been a total mess, and it's been well documented. National news has really, for sure. Now. So it's been a word I won't say on the show, but it's been absolutely awful. So I don't know. I hope that it doesn't get lost in customs, because I'm excited for the CD. I was pretty bummed with the packaging options on this round of the Soundboard. The fact that you can only get the vinyl with the bundle. There's no standard black version. There's no standard CD version. It's only a Japan version. I was like, what is going on here? Like, they dropped the ball on that one, but that's for a different episode. Yep. It will be shipped hopefully next week, starting around April 30th. Hopefully is,
I think so.
It'll be,
I think around there. So it said last week of April shipping, arrival date tentative was like May 5th, 6th, 7th, something like that, I think is what it said.
Perfect. Cool. Yeah, I'm excited too, because I ordered mine as well. So I'm excited to getting mine. Yeah, I can't wait to show it on the show. Can't wait to listen to it. I've, of course, listened to the Spotify, the stream on streaming, but I'm still cannot wait to listen to it in the car, because in the car is where that's the best time to listen to music, is either in the car or in the kids' room on the stereo. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and get to our Ultimate Ace Frehley playlist. Again, we have 10 songs that Ace either wrote, sang, or played on. Could be from his solo albums. It could be from Frehley's Comet. It could be from Kiss. As long as it's Ace Frehley, it's anything goes. So we're just going to go back and forth and share our 10 favorite Ace Frehley songs on our playlist, on our Greatest Hits Ace album, mix CD, whatever you want to call it. So Rob, I'm going to have you kick it off. So if you want to go ahead and share with us track number 1 on your Ultimate Ace playlist.
Track number 1 started the 1978 Ace Frehley solo album. Of course, we all know Rip It Out. Just
Rip It Out. Yeah.
Fantastic track. And it was one of those when, I picked this album up. I was early into learning drums. I thought, I got to figure out what Anton is playing in this song. And then Ace's solo is just fantastic. The drum fill that Anton plays going into the solo, and Ace starts mimicking what Anton is playing towards the end, and that solo just goes like off the rails in a great way. That is just a great track. And I remember picking the needle up off the record because I had got a used copy. As a matter of fact, that's that same copy I got in 91 or whatever.
Nice.
That I would just pick it up and put the needle back down. I probably have a groove worn in to Rip It Out that eventually I was like, I got to get this on cassette because I'm going to scratch the crap out of this record. But yeah, Rip It Out. I couldn't think of a better track to kick this off. It just, I remember playing it for the first time and just hearing that clunk start. I thought, whoa, that's just really cool. And Ace just sounds like gold on the album, and just trying to wrap your head around like this is a whole album, nothing but Ace Frehley. Like he's only had a couple songs, then bam, here's Ace doing a full record. Yeah, Rip It Out.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being in '78 listening to that, and I know plenty of folks have, but obviously being born in '95, that's kind of a wow moment. Is thinking back to how crazy it must have been to, like you said, really having not heard anything from Ace. He didn't really. I mean, he did some backing vocals, but he had no lead vocals up until "Shock Me," and all of a sudden, like you say, here's a full album. So Ace probably had. There's a reason why I think Aces did the best, and Aces was so loved, and there was like so much eyes on Ace because Ace was the only one who you really didn't know all that much about. When he spoke with his guitar.
Yeah.
The only time you ever heard him speak was when he was playing those solos. Everybody else, Gene, Paul, Peter, they all had, they were either doing stage raps or singing live or singing in the studio. But yeah, Rip It Out, I will go ahead and spoil it, is on my list, but where it's at, that remains to be seen. My opener, see, I actually went back and forth on my opener, but I landed on the song Outer Space from Anomaly. I think this is the second song on Anomaly, and it's been pretty much my unofficial favorite Ace song since I heard it. And Jeb's the one that showed it to me because when Anomaly, is that Anomaly right there? There you go. Perfect. What's the first one? Foxy and Free?
Foxy and Free, then Outer Space. Yeah.
That
almost made my list. That was really close, really close.
I was going to say, I actually do have a couple of honorable mentions and bonus tracks at the end, and that might be one of them, just because, again, that one could have been on the list, but I had to make some cuts because 10 songs, I was thinking 10 songs was going to be really easy to do. I was like, I can get, 10 Ace songs, and turns out I had, 10 turned to 15, 15 into 20. Now I have to whittle it down, and I'm going, no, this is harder than I thought. So I was thinking it was going to be more difficult trying to find songs to put on the list. Here I am trying to find which ones I'm going to actually include. But Pain in the Neck was almost on it, but Outer Space has always just been my favorite track from Anomaly. I think the riff is great, especially coming off of the first chorus. There's a pretty typical, I don't know any guitar terms, so I'm going to sound stupid, but he's doing these really cool bends and slides coming out of the first chorus as we bridge into the second verse. And just when I heard that, I was like, oh, this is Ace at like his peak. This is like magnum opus Ace. He's absolutely killing it. The lyrics are great. It's a cool solo. So Outer Space has always been my favorite song. And even though it's the second song on Anomaly, it's going to open my playlist. I love the fact that it opens up with it has the spaceship sound effects.
Yes.
And then it goes right into it. You said you wanted my love. And it has those big drums to be a part of your. It's just, I don't know. Again, it almost reminds me of Cosmic Heart, where it's just that big epic Ace sound that we all love so much. So yeah, for me, Outer Space is going to open my list from 09. Yours is Rip It Out from 78. What's going to be your track 2 there, Rob?
Well, I posted it on our Instagram today, and the first Ace solo album that I bought, I thought I had the first album, but it was actually Live Plus One.
Okay.
Grab it. And it was a live album plus a one new song. And the song Something Moved from the first Frehley's Comet album, but this live version is just fantastic. Todd does this scream in it that is just like a bone-chilling scream. And I love the storytelling that Todd, it's a Todd Howarth written song, but Ace and Todd both have this dueling guitar solo that's great, and just this story that Todd wrote about, you know, something moved that's outside and he's trying to get away from it. And again, that's one of those songs that was on that Live Plus 4 VHS that my friend Ben and I would watch this, and we just got chills at something moved and Todd does that scream. We're like, oh, is he gonna do the scream like he did on Live Plus 1? And he nails it and looks over at Ace at one point in the video where it's almost that look of like, yeah, I did it. I did that thing. So I love that track. And with early on of not knowing like, oh, all the solos on the album must be Ace Frehley because it's Ace's band. Ace does give a good hand of solos to Todd, but Ace is always playing some type of lead around. So it was really kind of cool in Ace's own band to go, I don't have to play the solo. I can play the rhythm part, but once you know it's Ace, it's like, oh, here comes the spaceman. So yeah, having both of them solo on the song is really cool. This was almost my opening track, but I'm like, it's an Ace playlist. I have to have Ace lead vocal. So Todd takes the second seat.
That's really cool. And see, again, one more song I need to check out because I'm not familiar with that song studio or live. So that scream, I'm missing out on all this epicness. So that's what I'm going to have to, whenever I'm done editing this, I'm going to make a list of all the songs that Rob mentions, and then I'm going to have to check them out as I'm putting this episode up and uploading it. But that's a really good one. I like that one. My track 2 was going to be my track 1. Again, I was kind of going back and forth as to what I wanted to open my playlist, and I decided to put this one at number 2, which is 10,000 Volts, the song 10,000 Volts. It obviously opens up the album 10,000 Volts, and Outer Space is track 2 on Anomaly. So I almost wanted to keep that track listing, but I was like, you know what? I like Outer Space more. I heard it way earlier. It's been my number 1 Ace track for so long, so it's still going to make that number 1 slot. But I got to admit, 10,000 Volts is by far one of my favorite Ace Frehley songs. It took a few listens to grow on me, but on that maybe 4th listen, it like something just clicked, and it was like, I can't wait to hear this live. I ended up getting to see it live when Ace and his band were here in Brown County. There's a great music video. So yeah, when the album comes out, it's the one that you know the most. So yeah, I thought it was a great single, a great song. It's even though it's one of the newer Ace songs, it's already one of my favorite Ace songs of all time. So I think why is it Steve Brown? Sorry,
Steve
the name
Brown,
for some reason escaped me. I was like, wait, PJ Farley. No, that's not the guy from Trickster I'm thinking of. No. So yeah, Steve Brown, I think, mentioned how he wanted to have a riff, that main riff be, you know, based in history. And so you could take that riff, slice it up, move it around, and make it into the Firehouse riff. And so the 10,000 Volts riff, the whole song just feels like it's rooted in classic Ace. I thought it was a great song, and again, a great video. Got to see it live. So yeah, I think it's a great song. That's why it's going to be my number 2 on my list.
That unfortunately didn't make my list. But it's the one song off the album that when I think of 10,000 Volts, it was the first thing we all heard from it. Well, at least the first thing I heard from it. And it's that earworm that kind of lingers in. Like I can constantly hear the chorus, and it's the thing that you said it so perfectly. It's the thing that makes it sound like it's most of him digging into his roots, and the rest of the album is Ace being Ace. But this kind of latches on where I'm glad Steve had that idea of like, let's bring in the diehard Kiss fans, remember the Ace that we all know and love. And yeah, I was struggling to try and move it into my list, and I couldn't quite get there.
Honorable mention, right?
Yep.
For sure. All right, well, tell us what number 3 is.
Legendary. The first time that Ace Frehley went up to the microphone and says, Ace is going to sing a song for you. Shock me. I know it's got to be on both of our list. If it's not, I'll be really surprised.
Are you using the live version or the studio version?
I went with the studio version. I really
Okay.
like the live version of the song. I like the up tempo feel of it, but there's just something really classic about the Love Gun version. Even the CD version, was it the 40th anniversary? They did some anniversary where it's a double CD before they came out with the anniversary vinyl. I can't remember what that was, but
Maybe
I
think it
thought,
was Kiss 40, yeah.
but that sounded so good, that a Love Gun double album where you had an album of live rarities and outtakes.
Oh, that, yes. Okay, yeah.
It's just out of my reach. I should have brought it up here, but I really like the remastering of that. So that's kind of like my go-to. If I really want to hear Shock Me, I pull out that double CD version of it, which I'm sure it's the same remastering from the Kiss remasters they did way back when, but it did say a new remaster, and there's just something real bright. And I think Ace his vocals shine even a little bit more on that recording.
Yeah. Well, I will say that Shock Me is yes, it is on my list. It absolutely has to be. It's, again, the debut A song, and it stood the test of time, and I'm pretty sure that he has moved that song into the opening slot of his set list, or at least close to the beginning, which is crazy because you think Shock Me is going to be the one that you hear towards the end, and kind of like Detroit Rock City, but that one can work also as an intro or an encore. And here we have Shock Me, which is usually an encore / bottom of the set list, now being moved at the top of the list. I thought that was a really interesting choice to make, but it does work live because, again, I saw it in Brown County, and it was fantastic. But
Awesome.
yeah, no, great choice. That was your track number 3.
Yep.
So my track 3 actually is also camping out in the 70s as well. Mine is coming from later in the year when they would release Kiss Alive 4. We would get a few studio tracks on side 4. So my track 3 is Rocket Ride. Rocket Ride, I almost like Rocket Ride more than Shock Me. I don't know why.
Me too.
Maybe it's me trying to just be cool, whatever. But no, I think Rocket Ride is one of the best Ace songs ever. It's that immediate, even the riff just sounds like it's coming from outer space. It sounds like a jet engine or a spaceship starting up, and then it just takes off. It's just a perfect Ace riff, perfect song. You have, I don't know if it's like one of the last times you have Peter and Ace on a record together with Kiss, because I know that in a couple years, Peter was gone, and then, Ace was gone. So I feel like Rocket Ride, they just really captured something special. Even at the end when, you have Ace just delivering all that craziness on the guitar, and then Peter with them really fast fills. Is that Rocket Ride? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, I don't want to burst your bubble, but that's not Peter. That's Anton Fig.
On side 4 of Love Gun?
No, not of Love Gun, of
side 4 of Alive 2?
Yeah, that's Anton Fig.
Well, I never knew that.
The whole track is Ace and Anton. So Ace plays all the guitars, bass, and Anton plays drums. By that point, Peter was just about done. I think Peter is on Any Way You Want It. I don't even know if he's on All American Man. He's on Larger Than Life, but yeah, that was done at the Ace in the Hole studio. I think while they were starting to do the 78 solo album. So I think Rocket Ride was written right around that time frame. So yeah, that is Anton.
Dang. Wow. Still a monster drum track. The sound in that studio, has a lot of echo, a lot of reverb. Still a great outro, still some great drumming. And that was one that we saw, even when we saw them just a couple months ago, he was playing Rocket Ride. And no, I think he didn't play that one. Maybe he did, and I don't know, I can't remember. But he definitely played Rocket Ride this past show that we saw in March. And I can't recall if he did at the Brown County show in 2024, but hearing it live in 2025, you can't go wrong there. It was a classic song. It was great. I got a little bit of a video clip of it just to remember it by, but yeah. So it had to be on my list. I love that song, my favorite 70s Ace song. So yeah, Rocket Ride for me, number 3. Rob, share with us your number 4.
I put this on here as a tip to my hat to Nico. I forgot how much I liked the song, but it was one I kind of had forgotten about. We recorded our 30th anniversary episode for the first Frehley's Comet album, and Nico just went crazy for this song. So because of that, I associate it with our podcast, and it has become a fast favorite. I'm like, all of these years later, I kind of rediscovered an Ace song. It's another Todd Howarth led song, but it's Calling to You. It's got such a great, yeah. It's one of 2, maybe 3 tracks that Todd sings. Ace does almost the whole first album. But Todd brought this song in from a band called 702, and I am blanking. I want to say it was Maximum Overdrive, and that's probably the wrong title. If I could pull the album down, I could tell you exactly what it was. But Todd brought this in when he joined Frehley's Comet, and the producer was like, because they had already kind of had a hit with it, and he's like, well, we really like it. And Ace is like, well, this is really cool. It's one less song that we've got to come up with the album. So Todd rewrote the lyrics and chorus around it, and it's an even better song. So Calling to You is on here, and Ace has a killer solo on it. It's so cool.
That's great. See, that's going to go on my list of songs I need to listen to. I need to catch up on and figure out, because I'm sure Jeb probably knows it, and here I am out of the loop. So yeah, I'll have to check that one out. Calling to You, and then what was the other one you said? Something what?
Something Moved.
Something Moved. Yeah, there you go. Okay,
I was wrong. So 702, the song was called Megaforce. So do yourself a favor, listen to the song Megaforce by 702, and then Todd took that song and reworked it into Calling to You.
Okay, very cool. I like that. Yeah, absolutely. I'll have to do that. Now, here we go. So for we're doing track 4 now, right?
Track 4. Yep.
Track 4 for me, Shock Me. So here we go. So you and I were right near each other. So yeah, I could have had Shock Me open it. I feel like, you did a very nice thing having Rip It Out open yours, because it was the first song you hear on the first Ace solo album. I almost had Shock Me as the opener, since it was the first Ace song that we ever heard, in history period. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to put some of my personal favorites at the forefront, and then we'll sort of ease into that 70s. So 3, Rocket Ride. 4, Shock Me. I mean, yeah, what are we going to say about Shock Me that hasn't been said before? It's a classic, perfect Ace song. I love how we talked about earlier on 10,000 Volts, how there was like the reference to some Kiss riffs in Firehouse with the riff in 10,000 Volts. Well, I love how on the instrumental in 10,000 Volts, there's a couple of notes that mimic the riff or the solo in Shock Me. That classic little Ace, stop and go. It's become so iconic. It's used in one scene in Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, I think. So yeah, Shock Me. It's a great song. I love it. It had to be somewhere on my list, and so yeah, for me, it just ended up at number 4. But I imagine, it's going to be on everybody's list somewhere.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, talk to us about number 5.
Number 5. Talk about like those moments in your youth that you just remember. I also love this album. So this broke the mold of Frehley's Comet. Once Frehley's Comet ended, Ace starts his proper solo career. It's kind of tangentially still, you could still call it a Frehley's Comet album, because Richie Scarlett is back in the band, and he was originally in Frehley's Comet, but then left. That's how Todd got in. So I remember my best friend Ben, Hot in the Shade. We had just bought Hot in the Shade December of the year that it came out. And back in the days, to show you how old I am, he called me on our corded wall phone and said, I want to play you something. And I could hear him push the cassette deck, and I heard Hide Your Heart. And I was like, it's through a phone. It sounds weird. And so I could hear him fast forward. He's like, listen to these vocals. And I was like, that does not sound like Paul Stanley. Like, what version of this album do you have? He goes, this is Ace Frehley's new album, and he covered Hide Your Heart. Wow. I was like, yep. What? So this is a long story to say, I went out, bought Trouble Walking, came back home, heard it. Then I heard the title track, Trouble Walking, and I was obsessed with this song.
Oh, yeah.
I love Trouble Walking. It's got such a great groove. So number 5 for me, that was a long story to say, Trouble Walking. This is one of those songs I would so much want to hear him play live, but I think he only played it on the Trouble Walking tour and the Peter Criss Ace Frehley Bad Boys tour, because Peter Criss is featured on a couple songs. It plays percussion and then gang vocals with Sebastian Bach on Trouble Walking, Back to School, and there's one more Richie Scarlett song that Peter does backing vocals on. So, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, there's 2 Kiss members on Hot in the Shade, and there's 2 Kiss members on Trouble Walking. So we thought that was so cool. Like, Paul and Gene are on this album, Ace and Peter are on this album, you know. So Trouble Walking, that's such a great tune.
That's a great choice, and I agree. Epic song, and I wish that was one that he played live today. I don't know if it's a promoter's choice or maybe it's Ace's choice, but now that Kiss is off tour, Ace's set is mostly Kiss songs.
Kiss.
I mean, you do have Rip It Out and 10,000 Volts. He is playing Cherry Medicine. Couple of songs that are not Kiss songs, but most of them are Kiss songs. And I feel like if you could just take one of them out and put one other one in, it should be Trouble Walking.
And I think he's had hits enough throughout his solo career that he would want to shine on. I know he does play Rock Soldier, so that kind of gets a Frehley's Comet song in there, but anyway.
Yeah, for sure. So number 5 for me, we're halfway through now. So my number 5 is Into the Void from Psycho Circus. And this has always been one of my favorite songs off of Psycho Circus, not just because it's the only one to feature all 4 original members, just because it really is a good song. Again, when you think about, Ace Frehley and his spaceman image, to me, songs like Rocket Ride, Shock Me, A Pop Up. But for me, I almost go right to Into the Void because, as most folks probably know already, that Psycho Circus was when I came into the band. That was my first Kiss album. So Into the Void was kind of like my Shock Me. And I can think back to when Kissology came out, getting Kissology Volume 3, and it has that Dodger Stadium show. And it has, they play the song Into the Void on that show. And by that time, we had lost our copy of Psycho Circus. We hadn't had a copy in forever. So I hadn't heard it in probably, 3 or 4 years, which at that time, when you're a kid, feels like an eternity. So all of a sudden I'm hearing, oh my gosh, that's that Ace song from Psycho Circus that we haven't heard in years. And it was like a big moment for me. So I always love listening to Into the Void. Love that classic Ace riff. I love his, spacey vocals. Even Gene and Paul's backing vocals, I think, work great. And then you have a copy of the Millennium Tour. Did they play Into the Void on that Kiss Millennium Tour?
Yes.
That is super cool.
I was literally just looking at it like, did they play that there? So if my screen got really bright, it's me pulling up iTunes. Yes, they did.
Yeah.
They played it there.
That's a really cool thing. What a rare, what a live gem. So for me, halfway through my playlist, I got to put Into the Void. It could have been farther up, but at this point, I was kind of letting the songs naturally fall into place. And I think Into the Void works perfectly at number 5 on my list. Again, folks, everybody in the comments, let us know what your top 10 list is. And Rob is going to share with us his number 6. So Rob, take it away.
I'm probably getting booed by having a lot of Todd Howard songs on here, but that just is the era that I grew up. And this is my favorite Frehley's Comet song. Again, it's not written by Ace. Ace does not play the solo at all in it. In the music video, he plays a little bit of a portion, but it's a song called It's Over Now. It's a ballad that Todd originally wrote for Cheap Trick. Cheap Trick passed on it. Then Todd would eventually play keyboards with Cheap Trick. But I think it's such a beautiful song. It was in that long form video, Live Plus 4. I need to go through eBay, see if I can get a hold of that again somehow. But it was the closing video before the concert portion of the VHS would start. I think it's a beautiful song. Again, I know people kind of sometimes give Second Sighting a flack that it's really a Todd Howard thing, and Todd would say he was really having to pull at Ace like, this is your album, this is your band. And Ace was like, if the song's good, that's one less song Ace had to come up with at that time. So and it had a push like it was going to make radio play, and I think it just kind of filtered out. But yeah, it's just a beautiful track. It's over now.
And this is a ballad, you say, right?
This is a ballad. Yeah.
So this is the first ballad that either one of us have included on our list. So perfect. There you go. I like it. My number 6 is definitely not a ballad, but it actually is a little bit on the slower side, but it's on the heavier side. You know what I'm talking about when I say the title. And the title is Cosmic Heart. Everybody knows that this is my favorite song off of 10,000 Volts. There was no way it was not going to make it onto my Ultimate Ace playlist, but I can think back to, getting 10,000. I got off work. I drove 30 minutes to my favorite local, CD shop, record store, picked up 10,000 Volts on the day it came out. I already knew the song 10,000 Volts. I had already heard Walking on the Moon, saw both of those videos, heard both those songs. So I'm like, what's this third track going to be? What's this third track going to bring? And all I hear is boom, boom. And I'm like, is there a freaking air raid happening? Like, am I getting like attacked by some foreign military? Because it's like bombs coming in. The riff hits so hard. Joey's drums are coming in hot. It's so big. Those lyrics, I still love the flying high in the sky, ignoring warning signs. I woke up one day and my soul wasn't mine. Those lyrics are just so cool. So I thought that song still is a 10 out of 10. And I don't know, what influenced the placement. I was, again, just kind of like, what? I'm just going to put it on my playlist because I know it belongs in the playlist. But that one, by far, Cosmic Heart, is one of my favorite all-time Ace songs. And it was from the moment it came on. By the time and I might have even restarted it. Like, I heard the first 30 seconds and was like, wait, stop, hold up, go back, restart. I got to hear this all again. This is way too epic, way too crazy. So yeah, Cosmic Heart, definitely one of my favorite songs. Had to make it onto my list. So yeah, absolutely.
That's a really good song. And I need to revisit a 10,000 Volts album again, because I don't know if I've listened to it since did we do the review on your channel or on Brant's channel?
It was you, Brant, and I on Kiss Army Things. Yep.
I bet I haven't listened to it. Maybe I listened to it once or twice since then, but it's been a while. I need to revisit that album. I think that's why I had written 10,000 Volts on my list, and it kind of got lost in the shuffle. But doing episodes like this, when somebody points something out, you're like, oh man, you're talking about Cosmic Heart, and I can kind of hear it in my head now going, man, I gotta put that on my, I about said iPod, pull up my Apple Music and play. Let me put it on my iPod and download it.
Put on my MP3 player here, yeah.
Right.
No, but yeah, I think you'll be surprised at how well that album holds up. I think it's, there's a couple songs on there that you could argue or, whatever, but most of that album I thought was very, very strong. For me, Cosmic Heart was at the top. But let's go ahead and we're in the last 3/4 of the album now. So Rob, share with us track 7 on your playlist.
I think this is an underrated Ace track. This is the most songs that Ace has had on an album from Unmasked, and all he wants to do is talk to you. That's all he wants to do.
Just a little bit of conversation. That's all he's asking.
That's such a cool, and I think that's probably the best Ace has ever sounded. He sounds crisp. He sounds like very slick, where you're going, no wonder Ace has 3 lead vocal tracks on this album. I'm sorry, Gene. He could have taken Ace could have brought in another song, because some of Gene's songs, as much as I like Unmasked, Ace and Paul shine. And you want to go battle between Ace and Paul, who's got some of the better songs. I think, Torpedo Girl,
Two Sides of the Coin.
2 Sides of the Coin. Yeah, and coming off Dynasty. Talk to Me. And I don't know what happened to it. I had a version of You Wanted the Best. So You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best. It was a Japanese version of it, and it had an Australian version of Talk to Me with Eric Carr on it. And somehow I can't find that CD anywhere. I got it at a record store. So that's one I'm trying to find again. Because I've got that album, but I went to go pull it out doing this list, and I was like, I can't find it. So I just put the studio version.
Perfect. I could have honestly on my list too. I think earlier when I was talking about introducing a song, I was like, talk to us about, and I was like, oh, Talk to Me. That would have been a good one on my list. Even though it didn't make it onto my list, I totally agree. It's a great Kiss song, great Ace song. It could have easily made it onto my list as well. So you're in 1980. I'm going to go back to 1978. So this is the first Ace solo song I have on my list, and I actually chose New York Groove. So surprisingly, so I feel like even though this is Ace's biggest hit, I feel like it's become kind of like Rock and Roll Night, where people want to like almost make fun of it and knock it because it is so successful and because it is the one that everybody associates with Ace. But the truth is that that version that he recorded, that the original version by Hello is really good, but whatever it is, the production style that Eddie Kramer captured on that song on his solo album is just perfect. The way those drums are, the way his vocals are, it's just a perfect song. That's one song that you can listen to at night in the city with the big city lights, and you're just traveling at a nice 35, on the streets. It's a great song. It's a perfect song. I love the production. I was thinking about what songs I wanted from Ace's solo album to be on my list, because the truth is, half of that album could have been half my playlist, right? I mean, that's just a fantastic solo album. So I was like, I got to pick and choose. And I think I am going to go with the cliche one, New York Groove. I love that song. I can think back to it's funny because when I first heard it, it was on that Greatest Hits album. I forget what the name of it is, but it has all the Four Faces. I think it's just called not Greatest Kiss. Oh, it's going to kill me.
Is it Icons?
Sorry. No, it's not Icons. Let me grab it real quick. Okay, I can see it. It's called The Very Best of Kiss. I knew it was the very best. It was one of the very first greatest hits CDs that we had as kids, and it's got like 20 some songs on it. So
yeah,
that's one that you can like listen to in the car on a road trip, and then whenever you're done on your way back, you can finish the album because it's so long.
Yes.
But it's got New York Groove on it, and when I was like, let's see, it came out in 2000, so I would have been like five or six. I'm hearing this song New York Groove. I'm like, that's clearly Ace. I thought it was Kiss. I thought it was Kiss singing that song, and it was on some sort of, it was a B-side to, Love Gun or something. I didn't know what it was or where it came from, and only later on did I realize that it was actually, a cover that Ace recorded on his solo album. So still, though, I love that song. I love that version. It's number 7 on my list. Well, let's go ahead and get to number 8, Rob. Share number 8 with us.
Number 8, sorry, Todd Howarth fans, but Todd's making another appearance.
Here we go.
For as much
Rob's
as
ultimate Todd Howarth playlist.
I know. From Ace's, I mean, I love the Frehley's Comet album,
Yeah.
the two, but I really gravitated towards Todd's vocals because I've always said like Ace is a good singer. He's not a great singer. He has some great songs. His playing, I think, is a little more free. I know you can be in the studio and do all the overdubs, but long-winded. It's buried on the Second Sighting album, but is my favorite song off the Second Sighting album. It's called A New Kind of Lover. Ace has a great solo. So Todd does a little bit of the solo, but the biggest crescendos of a solo is is Ace. And Todd has said, like, you really need to play guitar solo on this song, so I'm not playing the majority of the guitar solos on your solo album. So Ace did do the lead guitar work on the song, and it's
nice.
When you hear it, you go, oh, you can hear Todd's solo, but the bulk of it is all Ace. Just, it's a really cool song, and it's really, sci-fi X-Files ish type of a song, seeing apparitions and all that kind of stuff. And Todd falls in love with a ghost in the song. Like,
okay,
am I having this relationship? It's the best relationship that I've had. So it's a really cool song. Yeah.
That's some cool songwriting. You have, a love relationship with a ghost, and then you have something moving outside the window. Like, I mean, that's very unusual. I'm serious. It's very unusual songwriting. It's like, that's kind of unique. I need to go back. Were there really only 2 Frehley's Comet albums?
2 Frehley's Comet albums. If you count the live album, Live Plus One, there's 3. So you have
3. Okay.
You have Frehley's Comet, Live Plus One, and then Second Sighting. And then if you count the VHS, that's Live Plus 4.
Wow. Okay, for sure. Yeah, I don't know why I thought there was maybe a couple more, but yeah, I guess you're right. That was kind of short-lived in the grand scheme of things, but awesome. Good one.
And that just says, like, my last little addendum to it,
Yeah,
that just shows what a lasting impact that, you know, Ace went so long from leaving Kiss to put out albums. It wasn't until 1987, 86 was the first release Comet album, and he was gone since 82. So
that's
people
crazy.
really ate up that stuff. So becoming a new Kiss fan, I had 2 Ace Frehley solo albums that I was like, these are just as good as anything Kiss is putting out, is how I viewed them.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny you mentioned that because my track 8 is getting into some A solo stuff. But it's A solo. It's Trouble Walking. You included Trouble Walking earlier.
Nice.
I was wondering if you would, because Trouble Walking, I heard that back in middle school, and I was very unfamiliar with anything outside of just the studio Kiss albums. I had maybe heard like half of each of their solo albums, but even then, I was just a Kiss fan. So when I heard Trouble Walking, I was like, man, this song kicks ass. I still to this day, I think it's a perfect Ace character song, because Ace, obviously, on one hand, he's the spaceman, right? He's the guy from outer space. He's an extraterrestrial. He's from Jendal. He's from a different planet. He's this alien extraterrestrial being, but then he's also the bad boy character. And he can kind of go in between two. And so he has this, Kiss spaceman character, but now he's outside of Kiss. He's doing this, bad boy kind of street tough look, and it works so well. And this is the song where it's like, I'm trouble walking. I'm everybody's nightmare.
I love it.
Oh, it's so good. And it's like, I mean, maybe he was. It's like he's owning it, and he's owning it, and I just love that song, and I think that it's right to be on both of our playlists. I know it's towards the end on mine, but that just means that even at the end, there's no slouching. It's a nice steady ride up. So for me, track 8, Trouble Walking, yeah.
Now, I misspoke from my track 9. I said Talk to Me was on You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best with Eric Carr. I was wrong. I looked at my list. It's this one.
Oh,
back in the New York Groove. That was on the Japanese version as a bonus track. You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best.
Okay.
And I got to say, I work for Lowe's in their distribution center. I don't know who is running Lowe's radio, or what service that Lowe's is using. I think it's a version of Spotify or something like that. I can't tell. If you want to ask me what is on my Kiss spotlight, the song that I hear the most at my job for weeks, I'm not saying like, oh, I hear it once in a blue moon. I hear it every week for the last 4 months. I hear Back in the New York Groove. And sometimes the rotation comes around where I'll hear Led Zeppelin's Rock and Roll play, and I'm like, I feel like I'm at a Kiss concert. And the next song that plays is Back in the New York Groove, and I'm like, people have known, like, oh, you're the Kiss guy. How some people going, hey, that's Ace, that's that Ace song. Like, people know that, like, they're not just playing a Kiss song, they're playing an Ace Frehley, song. And I'm just going, who is at Lowe's corporate going, here's the songs that we want to put in our curator. We'll hear Barry Manilow, and we may hear Disturbed in the next, like, we're hearing stuff like Seven Dust every now and then, but Gone are Rock and Roll All Night, and some of the classic ones. Like, I heard Crazy Nights the other day, and I was like, what planet am I on that I'm hearing Crazy Nights, and a month later I'm hearing Back in the New York Groove? So this had to make my list, just because it's the Kiss song that I hear, air quotes, the Ace song that I hear the most in 2025 and into tail into 2024. There wasn't a week that went by that I didn't hear the song at work.
That is cool. I wouldn't mind going to work if I was hearing, Ace tunes and Kiss songs all day, as opposed to, the crap that I hear. But that's really cool. I love that. That made it. So that's your number 9 is New York.
That's my
Groove?
9. That's the
number 9.
That's why I put it there, the 9. So for me, 10 is a bonus track, but
okay.
The RBTE version only has 9, but if you order it from us, we throw in a bonus track.
Hey, there you go. I love it. So my number 9 is a repeat of your track 1. My number 9 is Rip It Out. I wanted to wait for this one because I was like, yeah, rip it out. It could be number 1, it could be number 2, hell, it could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I said, I'm making it number 9 because again, I don't want this album to kind of peter out at the end. I wanted another song from again Ace's solo album. I could have put, What's on Your Mind. I could have put Ozone. I could have put, Snowblind. Any one of those songs. There's one more I'm thinking of. I'm in Need of Love. Yeah,
Yes,
I could have put that one on there.
That was so close on my list. So close.
Same. Yeah, I was like, I could literally put half of that album, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep it to just New York Groove, track 7. I'll space it out with Trouble Walking, and then number 9, Rip It Out, because like you said, it's just a perfect song, perfect Ace song. There's no way it's not going to be on my list, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it right at the end. So just when you think it's almost over, it's still going to, kick into high gear. So yeah, Rip It Out. I love, of course, Anton's drumming is to me just as important to that song as Ace's, his lyrics and his guitar playing. It's those two that made that song. And I love how on 10,000 Volts, the song Fighting for Life, you get a throwback to that Rip It Out riff that I heard it and I was like, oh, immediately Rip It Out. What a fun throwback. But yeah, Rip It Out. You can't go wrong with that one. It's always fun to hear live because of the classic, the drum fill. There's Rush, the drum fill, and what is it, Tom Sawyer or YYZ or whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's Tom Sawyer, and then there's This Is That version, but for Ace. That the iconic Ace song where you think, oh, Ace the guitar player, but here's an iconic drum part in an Ace Frehley song, and Anton Fig killed it in the studio, and then Scotty Coogan does it live today. It's one of my favorite parts of the show. So yeah, Rip It Out was gonna, it wasn't gonna not be on my list. So here it is for me at number 9. But now I want to know, what's your bonus track? What's track number 10?
It was back in the summer of '83, and I remember it well. I was drinking and driving, bringing myself closer to hell, because rock soldiers come and rock soldiers go. Some hear the drum, some will never know. I love this track. I probably have said this a million times on the show already. If I had to sit down in my heart of hearts of Kiss Hearts and I go, what is the Ace Frehley song that I think of when I turn off the lights? It's Rock Soldiers. Yeah. There's something about it. I saw that video on MTV, and again, it was on that live plus 4 VHS. This was the first music video on it, and I had no idea that there was a music video till I saw that VHS, and then I kind of started seeing it on MTV. But such a great tune, and it's very autobiographical of going, hey, Ace was in a car accident. The reason he, was the reason that he left Kiss was because of the car accident, which I know there were some other things, but Ace's face not getting the makeup done in some photos because he was drinking and had fallen and was in a car accident, like all that stuff where you're going, Ace is writing something personally about himself in it. And the greatest line in the song is, if the devil wants to play his card game now, he's going to play without an ace in his deck. I love that tune. So as much as I love the Shock Me's and Rip It Out, to me, a quintessential Ace Frehley song is this, because he's writing from a real life experience. Not that he hasn't before, but this just says, hey, I left Kiss. I'm my own man. I'm doing my own thing right now, and no one's pulling my strings. No one's reaching into my deck but me. So Rock Soldiers had to finish out my list. Again, another Frehley's Comet. My list is very Frehley's Comet heavy.
It is. And what's great is that great minds think alike, because I'm here to say track 10 on mine is also by far Rock Soldiers. I actually knew that. I said, before I did track 1, track 2, I said, I know what track 10 is. That's going to be Rock Soldiers. I knew what was going to close the album, and that was going to be Rock Soldiers. Rock Soldiers, again, it could have been the opener because it has that marching drum intro. Yeah. It's it would have been a perfect intro to an album. But when I think about Rock Soldiers, I think this is Ace's Rock and Roll All Night. This is Ace's Detroit Rock City. Yes. This is Ace's solo song that defines him and his career. And so if I go to an Ace show, which I actually did see this live, and
Me too.
It's fantastic to hear live. When we were, Jeb and I sat up in the balcony, and when he was, playing this, we actually missed the first 3 songs, which was unfortunate because we missed Shock Me. We missed Cherry Medicine, which some would say good on you, but I forget what the other one was. But yeah, we missed 3 songs And when we opened up the doors to the venue, the casino, he was playing Rock Soldiers. And so I was like enjoying this moment where I open the door, it's hut, 2, 3, 4, and I'm marching. Jeb and I are marching through. And in order to get to the balcony, you had to walk up to the stage, by the stage, and go up the stairs to the right. So it's kind of funny because we're sitting in the back, but to get to the back, you have to go all the way to the front.
That's
and
awesome.
I wish I would have absorbed it more, but I'm a very awkward person, so I'm trying to like get to my seat as quick as possible so that I'm not in anybody's way. You know, I'm like, oh, excuse me, pardon me, pardon me. I should have just walked and looked and was like, I'm as close to, you know, Ace's stage, Ace and the guys, yeah, as I will be. And I should have just, you know, made a moment out of it. I was like, all right, Jeb, come on, we got to go get to our seat as fast as possible. But they're playing Rock Soldiers the whole time, and so we're marching through the crowd, and then we're going up to the balcony, and I just stopped. And I have a video of it on our Patreon, but there's a video of Jeb and I standing from behind the stage on our way, about halfway up the stairs. We just turn and watch, and we're watching the band from the back playing Rock Soldiers. And once we get to the balcony, it's the part where, you know, if the devil's going to play, it's going to be, you know, and of course he stops and lets the crowd say it. So I'm at the top of the balcony. He's going to play without an ace in his deck. You know, I'm just going absolutely ballistic because, you know, here I am at the Ace show. But yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of the show. And I'll never forget when Frehley's Comet reunited for the first time in a long time in 2018 at the Indie Expo. And we were there for that when they played Rock Soldiers. And even though it was a cool moment then, I don't think I realized what was happening in front of me, because I'm not sure how long it had been, but it had been a long time since Frehley's Comet had gotten together. And so to me, I mean, I was just there to meet Ace, to meet Eric Singer, to see some friends and hang out with, you know, Jeb, Daphne, and everybody else. But no, I mean, I was standing there watching Rock Soldiers being played by the guys, and it wasn't lost on me. I knew it was a moment, but I wish I would have sat there and really took it all in. But yeah, no, there's not going to be another song to close out my list other than Rock Soldier. So I love how you and I both had it as track 10. That's funny. That's great.
Yeah, I knew what my opening was, and I knew what my closing was. My honorable mentions, I'll do that really quick.
Let's go for it. Yeah.
And it's really funny, other than obviously Shock Me, and I feel like a horrible Ace fan. I completely forgot about Rocket Ride. Like it had escaped it should have been on my list. And I definitely would have taken out a Todd song. I might have taken out Calling to You, as much as I like that one. Or even New Kind of Lover. You said that, and if my eyes got real wide, it was like, oh, you idiot. How did you forget about that song? So an honorable mention that I forgot, but my honorable mentions were, aside from, you know, Shock Me being on my list and Talk to Me, we really didn't do. I thought, okay, who's going to have Parasite? Who's going to have Strange Ways? So Strange Ways was on my list, and I was like,
oh man, I should have had what? Yeah,
it was. I had it right under Rock Soldiers, and I'm like, okay, what above? And I kept going. Okay, this is an Ace list. I need to pull off a Todd song. I need to put in, but I kept going. I know that's written by Ace, but I really associate that song with Peter. I'm like, this is an Ace show, so I left it off for that reason, even though it's a killer song, and I know they play it sometimes in Ace's show. I still always associate it with Peter. So that was on there. Insane from Frehley's Comet would have been on my list. And you might laugh at me, but Deuce was on my list.
Oh, okay. I get it.
It's just as one of those. It's that quintessential song. It's such a classic Ace Frehley solo. But again, I was like, that kind of fell off really early. Like, it's a Kiss song, and it's more about the whole of the band than the individual, even though the Ace plays it live. Now I'm like, it's not necessarily an Ace song as it is more a Kiss song. So I left that off. So those are my honorable mentions.
I love it. And I went through a similar thing too, where I was like, I mean, I do have a couple of Kiss songs, Rocket Ride, Shock Me, Into the Void, but I was like, yeah, I was like, I could have had, again, Strange Ways, Parasite, She,
Oh
which
yeah,
he played a great solo on, and then even Getaway, which he wrote. But again, Peter
yeah.
sang Strange Ways, Peter sang it. So I was kind of like, I'm gonna see if I can just have all Ace vocals. But one thing I didn't do was have an instrumental. There's always an instrumental on an
Fractured
Ace
Mirror was
solo.
close.
That's the
Yeah.
one. That was, yeah. Fractured Mirror was the one that I was like, if I was gonna do an 11th song, just to have a instrumental on there like Ace always does, it would have been Fractured Mirror, but I decided to leave it off.
Yeah.
Again, I'm in Need of Love and Snowblind were also ones. And then have we mentioned Pain in the Neck?
No, but that's a great track.
Pain in the Neck is another one off of Animal. No, I can't want to say Animalize, but it's the
Anomaly.
A-N and M. Yeah,
Yeah.
Anomaly. Anomalize. No, Anomaly. Yeah, so I thought that one is a great song. Pain in the Neck is such a great song.
Sister almost got an honor or a list. I probably should have said that because it's written now by the late great Carl Cochran. That
Yeah.
was a leftover before Ace would rejoin, so it took him a while to put that song on there. If I remember right, I think Carl may even actually play on the track, but it almost made my list, but I still kind of like have the heartstrings for Carl, and I'm like,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, so there you guys go. There's our list of 10 plus our honorable mentions. So I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody has in the comments for there. So if you guys think that the A celebration's over, think again, because now we're moving in to the collector's corner, and we're going to have this be an Ace themed collector's corner, and we're going to be sharing a few of our favorite Ace Frehley items from our collection. I can see Rob is going to grab a few things off of the shelf here. So while he is preparing, I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys just a couple small things first, and then after Rob shows his, I can get to my big item. But this one, I think everybody knows at this point. I'm a huge fan. I've been collecting a lot of Indiana Kiss items, and so at this point, I have 3 Ace Frehley guitar picks from the farewell tour. I even went ahead and wore this farewell tour shirt because that was when I came into the band Psycho Circus farewell tour. But yeah, so at this point I have they're not used, but they're just leftover overstock, but still really cool. I have I have a pick from Indianapolis from May 20th on the farewell tour.
That's
when
cool.
They were in Indianapolis. And then I have, let's see which one was. This one is September 9th when they were in Indianapolis. I think this one, May 20th, would have been Deer Creek. This was Conseco Fieldhouse. It's a purple pick. And then this one is September 10th when they were in Evansville. And this one looks like it's glow in the dark. I don't know if you can focus in, but it looks like it's glow in the dark. And I like that. Each one of them has Ace's autograph printed on the back with the space graphics and the classic Ace card. But yeah, so at this point I have a few Ace picks, and it's funny how eBay works because everybody has different prices. You can go on eBay and find all 3 of these picks for maybe 9 a piece or 80 a piece. It's really, you have to, really don't be afraid to look for other prices. Don't be afraid to look for, prices to come down, because I was like $80 for that guitar pick. That's wild. And I scrolled down and found it for 9, found one for 18, right? So but yeah, so
That's
there's my mini Ace Frehley guitar pick collection there. So Indiana guitar pick collection.
Of all the stuff that we collect, I never thought about like Toledo or Detroit. Like Toledo for me is 40 minutes away, where I've seen a bulk of shows. I never thought about collecting something from my neck of the woods. I was always like, oh, I only want to collect from the shows that I was at. And going through Kiss Army things and playing a lot of catch up lately, watching your collector's corner, I was like, what an ingenious way. Like, you're just celebrating your area, regardless if you were at the show or going. This was even before I was born, and picking up stuff that's really cool. That makes it personal to just you and your area as a whole, that somebody you don't even know had a concert ticket that you purchased in 2025, and you now own something that has history even before you. That's just an awesome thing to collect.
Oh, thank you. That's great. Yeah, that was a fun project for sure.
Okay, here's my dumb Ace stuff. So the announcement it came out that Ace was going to do a new Origins album, and I can't remember if I posted the comment on one of your videos or not, if we've said it on our show, but I was kind of like, oh, I want to kind of go off of 10,000 volts rather than do another Origins album. As he says this, as he's getting ready to say, I picked up a copy of Origins Volume 2, a Record Store Day release, and I can't even remember what year this was, but I didn't pick it up on Record Store Day. It was one of those as I was flipping through the bins, because, you know, like you say on your show a lot, you go to record store, you go to the K's, and I go to the A's, and sometimes I'll go to the P's, like, is Peter going to have something in here? I go to the V's for Vinny. You know, I'm checking every Kiss member. And then with Eric Singer, I'm like, okay, he's been in Black Sabbath, he's been in Badlands, you know, check all that stuff. So I was really kind of surprised. I think when this Record Store Day came out, I didn't go for whatever reason. I thought, I really don't need a picture disc. But I remember thinking, that is really kind of cool. And I've still had it sealed for a year. And normally I'm one of those, I'll instantly rip it open, and I haven't. So I think the next thing I'm going to play is probably this, just to say that I've played it, because I'm one of those that say every toy is made to be played with. Don't leave it in the box. So that's just one of those. So as I'm holding this, I'm going, maybe another Origins album won't be so bad. So yeah,
I'm looking forward to Origins 3. I love the Origins artwork. I thought Origins Volume 1, I don't know if I can, no, it's up there. I have a promo poster, but the Origins Volume 1 artwork, the Origins Volume 2, it was very like ethereal and very like otherworldly. It was really cool. So I'm interested to see what he brings to the table with Origins Volume 3, but that's a really cool record.
Yeah, I like that. And then this one, I've said it a number of times on this show. So this was a Record Store Day. It's just called Frehley's Comet Live, but I know it as Frehley's Comet Live +4. So these are all the songs that were on the VHS plus a couple others. Now the 4 songs that were on there were just the music videos from Frehley's Comet, because the normal he would record. There was only a Live +1. He recorded, you know, 1 extra track, but it's on like an orange vinyl. But it's got Rip It Out, Something Moved, Cold Gin. Pardon me as I open this, because I can't remember the track listing. Yeah. Rip It Out, Something Moved, Cold Gin, Shock Me, Breakout, and Rocket Ride.
Oh, that's a killer live set.
Yeah, and you know, Break It Out as also being co-written by Eric Carr, which we know would be Car Jam. So that's where
Car Jam.
Yeah. So this is one of those. I know it's an Ace album, but when I think about Rock Soldiers, what I'm actually thinking about is this VHS tape, Live +4. So when this came out on Record Store Day, I was like, this was a couple years back. I'm like, I got to get this, and this is what I was in line for. And the guy said, what are you here for? And I said, oh, Ace Frehley Live. He's like, oh, you're a Kiss fan. And I was like, you're darn right, I'm a Kiss fan.
Yeah, absolutely, I'm a Kiss fan.
So yeah,
respect on their name.
I love it. This is no like Holy Grail or anything, but it being an Ace Frehley centric episode, I had to show this, and I don't think I've even showed it on Right Between the Eyes. So it's the first time I think I've even done a video for it. So
love it. Thank you for showing us that. That's really cool. I do have one more thing to show. And it is this autograph photo of Ace. I'm trying to get to where there's no glare, but it's going to be kind of difficult. But yeah, so there you can see Ace Frehley. And I got this. So, okay, it's a little bit of a story, but Ace made an appearance at the 2011 Days of the Dead convention in Indianapolis. And I was probably 16 at the time, had never met an original member of Kiss before. So getting to know, like, knowing that we're going to get to meet Ace Frehley was, you know, absolutely incredible. And of course, in true Ace fashion, he shows up like 2 hours late to the event. He doesn't even look at me at all when he signs this. And I didn't even get my photograph. I got a photograph with him that you're supposed to get. I never did get my photograph.
Really?
So this is the only thing that I have from that day. But I love it because it reminds me of the days of being 16, being broke, because so Ace autographs, this is 2011, and it's so funny because this is only, like, you think 2011, it's not that long ago. But in 2011, an Ace autograph was $35. an Ace autograph, or no, an Ace photograph to get your picture taken with him was $35. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm about to shell out $70. And I remember sweating. I'm 16, so 70 feels like 700, And so
Right.
I'm like, am I really going to do this? Am I going to, all the money I've saved up, I'm going to spend on, yes, absolutely, an Ace picture, an Ace autograph. And so
And a
the night
photo you never
before,
get.
and a photo that I never got, $35 for a photo I never got. But the night before, I was like, what am I going to have Ace sign? I don't have anything cool. I don't have anything 70s. This was before I was collecting records, but I hadn't, had any, really cool records I would want Ace to sign. So I was like, what am I going to have Ace sign? And I literally went to my grandma's house, went to the internet, opened up Google Images, and searched Ace Frehley smoking guitar 2000 for the year 2000, and printed this picture at my grandma's house. And you can even see over here where the printer gets discolored right here. You can see printer lines right there. And then I cut the photo out, and it's not even straight at all. It's the most not straight cut ever. So Ace, when I put it in front of him, he looked at it and was like, where did you? He was like, whatever. Signed his name, handed it back, did the thumbs up for the photo, and sent me on my way. But I was like shaking because I was like, I know it's a terrible photograph. I know it's horrible.
Cool,
but yeah, I was gonna say, and again, I chose 2000 because I could have chosen something from Love Gun, from Alive 2, but this is my Ace. This is my era. So I wanted something that, represented my era. And so, yeah, I look back at this and I'm like, it's funny because I was such a starstruck teenager and was so nervous. And then Ace, he couldn't care less. And it's funny how it's like same planet, different world. But even though I didn't get my picture, I'm still glad I have that signed picture. And I did meet him in 2018. I did get my photograph then. So I guess all is well in the end. But yeah, so that's a little, that's some of the Ace stuff I wanted to show. Is there anything else you wanted to show as far as Ace goes? Was that it?
No, I think that's it. Other than just some of the typical, it's buried up there, but I'm trying to do it backwards. The Psycho Circus, it's a Psycho Circus box set that comes with the glasses.
Yes.
And then the CD where there were 4 of them with Ace, Peter, Paul, and Gene on it. And I got the Ace one. And a song that almost made my list was In Your Face.
Oh, I forgot about In Your Face.
I love that song, and that was real. Again, I could have pulled one of the Todd. I probably should have pulled one of the Todd Howard songs, and I'm like, I don't know. So I was really wrestling with that, and that I felt like was a gem to find. Like getting the CD really before the internet. Like I think I read it in Metal Edge magazine that there was this bonus thing and an unreleased song from the Psycho Circus sessions, and I was like, what? Like In Your Face. Yeah, I don't even know what that is. And then we find out that It's My Life is out there. So I felt like Kiss was like mining some gold. I'm like, why didn't you include? Yeah, it should have been on the album,
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that track.
I think the reason why It's My Life was because it was on Wendigo Williams' album, wasn't it? And, and Paul was mad when Thief in the Night ended up on Crazy Nights, and he found out that it was on Wendigo Williams' album. So I wonder if, even though it was demoed and it was a great demo, I wonder if that was the reason. But
Probably.
didn't Ace sing the third verse on
Ace
In My Life?
Ace sang the third verse.
That could have been on a list too, if you think about it.
I remember thinking the same thing. Like, so technically Ace could have had 3, for as much as they want to say like Ace and Peter weren't involved. I'm like, Ace has 3 vocal performances on the album. And poor Peter
has 1, 2. I mean, he's on You One of the Best.
Yeah, he's on You One of the Best. So it could have really felt like a more cohesive Kiss thing. Like as much as I love Dream, there's some other songs, an episode for later day, but you could have fit some of those in there where you might have looked at the thing and gone, it does feel like an original Kiss album should be. But yeah,
I agree 100%. But yeah, so that's just some of the A stuff we wanted to share. We're now getting into the Kiss calendar, which is going to be exciting because today we are gearing up for the Gene Simmons show. So next week, Saturday, May 3rd, Gene Simmons is going to be in Beaver Dam, Kentucky. Everybody knows that we're going, or the Kiss is going.
We have a Beaver Dam, Ohio. And I got
really?
Oh, when I saw it on the calendar, I was like, oh, Beaver Dam, that's not that far away. I can make
Oh,
that show.
man,
Talking to the wife, and she's like, look at that again. That's Beaver Dam, Kentucky. I feel like in Tommy Boy. It's called a map. You
yeah.
get yourself a new map. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm not. And then I think a few weeks had gone by, and I get a text message that says, hey, I have an extra ticket available if you're interested. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Where's it at? And the guy on text message says it's Beaver Dam. Actually says call me. So I talked to the gentleman, and he says, yeah, it's in Beaver Dam, Kentucky. So like, all you got to do is get to me. And I'm like, I can make a 3-hour car ride. I mean, Indiana's not that far away. So
Right.
that's where I'm going, folks. I'm going to go hook up with Xander and Jeb, and we're going to go see Mr. Gene Simmons. So
Yes, absolutely.
getting to hang out
Now,
with you guys in Rosemont during the end of the road, I still look back at those photos, and the photos, like, meet Crusoes and everything, but some of the videos, like the video that I think that I've played like the most on my phone is Jeb showing me like Paul Stanley flies right over. And I just remember leaving the arena going, man, those guys are not that far away. It'd be cool to kind of do something again. So I'm real excited. I think both of our hearts kind of dropped going, Gene's starting to cancel shows and going,
yeah.
is this even going to happen? So I've kind of yammered on for a little bit. So what are you thinking about, the show and the idea of going to see?
Oh,
Gene?
well, I mean, yeah, obviously I'm excited. And we had tickets to see him both in Beaver Dam and in Brown County. Brown County got canceled, and I was wanting to see if Beaver Dam was going to get canceled. Beaver Dam so far has not been canceled. So, yes, unfortunately, Daphne isn't going to make it. And I'm still not even sure if Jeb's going to be able to make it.
Really?
But I was like, I need to go with Rob. I have to have Rob. So Rob and I are going to be going to Beaver Dam, Kentucky to see Gene live May 3rd. And neither one of us have seen Gene live solo, right?
No,
I missed the 2017 shows.
I
He
did
came
too.
to Anderson. I still can't figure out why, but yeah, I missed that. But yeah, I'll be darned if I miss Gene coming around this time, especially since it's one of the only ones that's going to get actually performed. Did you hear? I forget which podcast it was, but Gene kind of opened up about that recently and said that it was actually due to the economy that he had to cancel so much shows. There was like, even I guess with his, I forget, what he explained, but it's almost like even with his genius business plan that he has for his solo band, like even that wasn't immune to the economy. And so that forced him to, cancel a bunch of shows. But yeah, so thankfully, Beaver Dam, Kentucky is still on. You and I are going to go see Gene, have a great time, spend some time. Yeah, we haven't seen each other since Rosemont, and Rosemont was so much fun. So I know we have so much to catch up on. So Kiss Army, rest assured, we're going to be hanging out. Expect some great photos and some great videos. We're going to do a review on the show, of course. So it's going to be awesome. I cannot wait to do this, man. It's going to be it's next week. I've been looking forward to this for like, it feels like months at this point.
You said this back in February. Do I have the timeline right? So it was kind of like the Rosemont thing. Like sometimes you go into a concert and because you have to buy tickets so far in advance, it just seems like everything's always an eternity. Like, oh, that's coming up later in the year. And, I felt like the first part of 2025 is just kind of drug on for a little bit. So I was constantly like, oh, I've got that coming up. So the wife and I were just talking about it. My niece is graduating from college. She's going to go to that. She goes, so you're going to be hanging out with Xander next weekend? I'm like, no, that's not. Oh, wow. That's next weekend. She's like, so what's the plan? And I was like, I literally don't know. I was like, we're two dudes. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. we're going to be seeing Gene Saturday, May 3rd at Beaver Dam. That's
and
the
I know
plan.
The podcaster in me, I've got to document the road trip. I've got to do that so I can come back on RBTE and you'll do your concert review and I'll do my concert review and,
absolutely.
all that
there
stuff.
You go. I was going to say, absolutely. So fans can expect, there's going to be a documentary on RBTE, a full episode review on Kiss Army thing. So hopefully, subscribe to RBTE because this is going to be really fun. I cannot wait. I'm super excited.
It'll be funny if we're both filming the same stuff and people are watching both of our channels and they're just getting it from two different points of view.
You can watch.
This is camera one. This is camera two.
Yeah, you can literally watch it on your desktop or your TV and then have one on your phone or whatever, and you can kind of like watch the same thing happening twice. So yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I've kind of looked at Gene's set list, haven't really, dug into it too much because I want it to be a surprise. But yeah, I know it's gonna be a great show. The Iron Maidens are opening up, so that's gonna be fun. I've heard nothing but great things about them. So yeah, it's gonna be a great show.
The one song I want to hear, but I hope he's still doing, is from the A-Hole album. I love Weapons of Mass Destruction.
I think he is.
I think that's a cool riff. So I don't know.
I think he is still playing that, and that's going to be fun to hear because I'm not too familiar with that one. And I think he's still playing "Are You Ready,"
Yes.
which was an unreleased Sonic Boom Monster demo that made it to our Hand of Fate, our new Kiss album and our episode 100 special. And I'm like, I hope to hear that live. That would be so cool.
Same. That's such a good tune. As much as I love Monster, I could have been the producer and pulled another, as much as I love that, pulled another song off of that and slid that one in there because I love that song so much. But
yeah, I think it's cool. And that was the lead one off of The Vault, right? When he was doing The Vault, that was like his lead single. So yeah, I attribute it to The Vault, but now I think of Sonic Boom Monster because now that we know it's from those sessions. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that he's not only, touring, but also playing a few different things. I think he's even doing a Motorhead cover.
Yeah, and
Ace of Spades.
Ace of Spades, yeah.
Is that? And I'm like, whoa,
yeah,
that's really cool. That's really cool. So he's not just playing, and who knows, maybe he'll change it up. We'll talk about it once we, talk about it on the show. But yeah, I'm excited to hear what Gene's just to see Gene live in person in 2025 is going to be great. And I know he's going to put on a heck of a show. He's going to play great. He looks great. He sounds great.
Yeah,
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and hoping to score some Moneybag Soda that I cannot find here in Ohio. I'm dying to try and get a hold of the orange.
We are going to have so much Moneybag Soda on this trip. It is going to be unreal. Let me just show you.
Oh my gosh! First the Indiana book, and now I feel like this is. I feel like this is Will Smith looking at Martin Lawrence and Bad Boys going, I love you. Shut up, Marcus.
Yeah. So not even joking. You want to try orange? I've got all the orange. We're going to be drinking this on the way down while we're there, on the way up at the hotel. We're going to be jumping off the roof. We're going to be getting getting crunk on Moneybag Soda. Beaver Dam better look out because we're coming. We're going to raise hell, man. I cannot wait.
I'm going to be orange wasted.
Yeah, we're going to be turned. So if you're going to be at this Gene show, we're going to be in general admission. So yeah, if you're there at the show and you see us, say hi. We'd love to see you guys. And
I might even, I was going to wear this, but I think being at the Gene show, I'm going to have to wear my money bag.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm interested. I may, depending on what the bank account looks like at this time, I may splurge and get some merch. I'm interested to see what merch he's selling. Hopefully I doubt it's going to be cost friendly, but who knows? Yeah. Maybe it'll be just cool enough to where Rob and I are like, we have to get a shirt for this show. Kind of like we did Dayton, we got a show from Dayton because we were there, and that was
Yeah, I'm not bringing a truckload. I just kind of squirreling back $50 a paycheck, going, okay, I'll take enough that I can get something, down there and kind of see. So
yeah. All right, man, this has been a fun episode. I cannot wait to see you next week. I cannot wait to read everybody's Ultimate Ace playlist. Once again, happy birthday to the Spaceman. Again, this is Ace's 74th birthday. He's going to be releasing a new album this fall. Peter Criss has a new album this fall. Gene is going to be performing live. Of course, we all know that Kiss is going to be getting together again in some fashion in Vegas this year. Yeah. So 2025, man, has been a great year so far. I can't wait to see what else the year brings. But I want to thank you so much for joining me last minute. This was a last minute thing. Yes. So I'm glad to have you on. I really appreciate it. As always, thank you to everybody who watches the show on YouTube. Thank you to our Patreon subscribers. And be sure to subscribe to the RBTE podcast. I know you can follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can subscribe to them on YouTube, and they're also on a bunch of other podcast platforms. But yeah, so thank you everybody for joining us. We will both see you in episode 138. I think this is episode 137 of the Kiss Army Things podcast. So yeah, until then, my name is Xander.
And my name is Rob.
Peace out. Rock on.